Well, that was a misfire of a start, but we made it. The whole two of us.
Yes, the
Um,
whole of us.
yes. Two parts of the whole.
Christ.
Or something along those lines. I don't know.
Good lord. Um, I'm back, and I've brought with me harmonica, which I'm going to save for Luke's ears.
Assuming Luke joins. We've got a lot of maybes or lates, so who knows who is going to drop in tonight. Anyway.
Probably just us two.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, because there's a whole lot of TV news that's happened over the last couple of days. I don't know what's been happening with you, Cameron, but I've been keeping an eye out for the the TV show news.
Well, I was actually going to start us off with a topic that is very relevant to today particularly.
Ooh.
And that is that Marvel Phase 4 has been announced. And all of the attached content, basically. For the sake of simplicity, I'll actually put up a shot on the stream now. So,
A picture.
yes.
I hope I'm looking at the right picture.
What has been announced is that Phase 4 will be starting with the Black Widow movie. And there's an awful lot of TV actually in Phase 4. But one thing that is very, very evidently missing is any major team-up movie. Or
Thank
Guardians
God.
of the Galaxy for that matter.
No, as Guardians of the Galaxy is a thing.
That's not on there either.
Yeah, but that's what they're renaming Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So that'll be our first.
But either way,
Actually, I did read that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has Scarlet Witch with Doctor Strange. So that's, I guess you could argue, that's a team thing.
yeah, but we've had the minor stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting lineup. So, just bluntly, Black Widow, which, not wanting to spoil Endgame in case there is the one person that hasn't seen it yet watching the stream, but
we can just say that they can't really do Black Widow in the future. Like,
it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But anyway, Eternals, which is new, and they had said who was cast for that, and it's
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, that's it. I was about to say Tomb Raider.
Uh,
because she played Lara Croft.
yeah. Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
And then we have the
Eternal
Shang-Chi movie and Doctor Strange movie. And finally finishing it with the Thor movie, which is actually using Natalie Portman as Thor.
Thor. Yeah, that's exciting. Quickly, Eternals has Angelina Jolie, which everyone and their dog knows. Kamal Nanjiani, who is reasonably familiar, but I'm not sure. And Richard Madden, Rob Stark from Game of Thrones. Announced.
Alright. Yeah. I have to admit, what struck me though was the quantity of TV in this lineup. And it's half-half. It's half TV, half movies. With The Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, What If, and Hawkeye all being TV shows, and if you didn't guess it by the little Disney Plus logo under them, exclusive to Disney Plus. Hallelujah. Oh, God. So. You okay there, Raymond?
I'm just scrolling through all the TV shows, sorry. There's a fair few.
So, yeah. Clearly Endgame really is the end of the first era, because unless there's more unannounced parts of Phase 4, this is basically stating that the closing of Phase 4 is going to be a Thor movie. which
Yeah.
we haven't
I'm just
really had.
confused. I'm really confused as to why Loki is in 4 different fonts. It doesn't make sense to me.
It actually took me several times to work out that actually said Loki and wasn't just like, I don't know, an L and O in a retarded shape.
Don't talk about the K like that. Looks
It's
more
hard.
like a H. It looks
Yeah.
more like a H. That's Lohi, actually. Oh, I'm really excited for Lohi in 2021. I wonder what hero that is from the comics.
God.
Oh, not listed in this, actually, on your picture, I think, is Blade.
Yeah, so they had announced that Blade is being brought in, but it's weird that they didn't actually in the official, because this is directly on a picture straight from the Comic-Con panel that Marvel themselves put up. It's weird that they didn't list Blade on this.
Blaze joined the server.
And that sounds like Luke will be joining us in a moment. I'll just
thank God.
set him up.
Blaze was
Set
moved to
him
your channel
up.
AEST for some stuff on the server.
So, Luke, nobody can see your dot yet, but welcome here if you're ready to talk.
Of course I'm ready to talk, and I don't mind if people don't know I'm here. I just snuck in the back door. Thank you. I now feel prepared to take on the world.
Good. That's the idea. I did say that I was holding it just for Luke. I was not going to play my harmonica if Nick or Mark had showed up, but it was just for Luke. So I hope you feel appreciated and loved.
I do. You Jesus Christ.
Do you feel appreciated and loved, Luke?
Well, I suppose if that's what you're going for, sure, that's exactly how I feel.
Oh, I just had a delivery of strawberries and cream. I'm very excited. No, we're just talking about getting into all of the new TV shows and movies that got announced over the long weekend, courtesy of Comic-Con.
So,
Starting with the Marvel Universe.
to catch you up, Marvel Phase 4 has been announced. The quickest way to see this is if you actually open the stream for this. I've got it up on screen. But
Also typing Marvel Phase 4.
yeah, otherwise you'll get like 1 billion hits for just typing Marvel Phase 4. Yeah, it's half split movies and TV, and they don't have an Avengers movie to close it off, which Endgame clearly was meant to be the end of, but yeah, it's going to feel weird not having an Avengers movie, sorry, Endgame, Avengers movie in the lineup.
Yeah. I do like, as an aside, like that the Thor logo is exactly the same as that shitty desert word art you get with the old 97 and 2000 Microsoft Words. Like the tacky orange to blue. I like it. It appeals to me. Quite a bit. Tasty.
I'm actually just scrolling through some of the other ones that they like, having put Marvel Phase 4 into Google, just some of the other ones of people's guesses, and it's like, these are all completely wrong.
How unfortunate. Like, they guessed Spider-Man and Captain Marvel, and it's like,
Apparently not.
no. Sorry, but I think you're fucking super duper wrong. What's What If? What is What If? What's that one supposed to be?
A TV show,
What
but
If?
beyond that, not sure.
Marvel. What If is rendered series of comic books published by Marvel, explores how the Marvel universe might be if key moments in history had not occurred as they did in the mainstream continuity.
There you go.
13 volumes.
Yeah, I suppose there's plenty they could do with that.
So things like, what if Gwen Stacy had lived? Captain America had lost? What if the Fantastic Four was Spider-Man, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and Hulk?
Jesus Christ.
Then we would have much better Fantastic Four movies.
With that, we would.
I just no. Fantastic Four is an unfortunate disappointment.
Anyway, moving on from Marvel. While we're on TV and movies, does anybody else have things to jump in here?
So if you just hit trending on YouTube and filter by TV, there's quite a lot of new things. So the thing I'm most excited about is The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Top Gun Maverick, the movie, Cats, the movie, Watchmen TV show, Star Trek Picard TV show, Rick and Morty season 4, It Chapter 2, Thor: Love and Thunder. We've already discussed that one. A lot happened over the weekend.
So which ones are you eager for?
Witcher mostly, and also, I guess in terms of controversy. The Witcher. So the trailer's lovely. It does what it does. It does what a typical teaser trailer should do. It has that edgy, generic music that goes. It has nondescript shots of the characters doing things that they'll be doing. A lot of people are very upset once again because the cast is coloured. They're super duper upset that Triss is a darker-skinned lady. In the games, she is basically Irish. Red hair, very pale skin. No offense to Irish people, but it's true. Most of you are pale with red hair. And in the trailer and all form of pictures, quite a polar opposite of Irish. Also, they're cracking the absolute shit over the Dryads of Broccolon. What colour a Dryad be? Luke.
I don't know.
No? Have you not played a game with Dryads?
Oh, sorry. I literally had a blank when you said that. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not,
tree
that isn't how I pronounce them. But okay.
How do you pronounce them?
Backed yourself
don't
into a
know.
corner here, haven't you?
I have,
Yeah.
and mine sees the Y more as an I. But yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I understand what you mean now. What color were they normally? I suppose a browny swampish color.
Yeah. Right. In the game, they're portrayed as bright green.
I guess not
let me know
bad,
when
I
you can,
guess.
let me know when you sense a pattern here in the main complaints from people. They're being portrayed as Amazonians, what I would imagine an Amazonian would look like. Incredibly intimidating, tall, strong, dark, women of colour. There's no men, Dryads of Broccolon. Not really a spoiler. But yeah, lots of people are cracking the shit about that. And the pattern I picked up on is everyone who's made these complaints have only played the games.
Fair enough. I suppose that makes sense.
Which I guess does make sense, but
But this series isn't going to be based off the games, is it?
no, it's not. For the purposes of this series, they're adapting the books from text in the pages to the screens in front of our eyes. They're not remastering any of the characters. They're not creating their own storylines yet. May. but they've said that they are only adapting the first two books, which is The Last Wish and The Sword of Destiny. They're not. I'm sorry, Last Wish and The Blood of Elves. They're not adapting any other shit for season 1, which is fine, I think. But complaining about the color of the actor doesn't make sense when.
Well, in that case, the question starts coming up of whether or not it's being more faithful to the books than the game is, then.
As far as I'm concerned, it's more faithful to the books. Because the Dryads are described as. They're not explicitly told that they're green or brown. They're simply described as colors of the forest, which can go anywhere from black soil to green leaves on the trees. Looking from the ground, looking up to the rooftop of the trees. So what they're described as, and I get the complaints with Triss. Like, she's supposed to be a reasonably pale brunette in the books. Yeah. But the games themselves went way over the top in that regard by making Triss a vibrant redhead with very pale white skin. So, I don't know.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, really.
Yeah, I don't see an issue, because these same people were bitching about Geralt, Henry Cavill as Geralt, 2 months ago, because he didn't look like Geralt. And if you watch the trailer, he looks like a Geralt. If I saw him coming down the street with a monster's head, I'd believe he killed that thing. Goodness gracious, he has a lot of muscle.
The one I'm going to thank Reddit for here is that he also looks like an Arthas.
Yeah. Yeah, he does too, when he has all the decoctions. Hang on, let me see. Geralt, potions, Henry Cavill. Images. It should be a picture from the trailer.
While Raymond's Googling that, Luke, was there anything that you've now had a bit of time to look at any of this? Is there anything that's tickled your fancy?
To be completely honest with you, one, I haven't actually opened the search engine, and two, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the weekend catching up with a lot of stuff. So this is actually the first time I'm hearing of it. So it's kind of like my first impressions.
Ah, shit. Well, go ham. Clickable.
I am. I'm listening in intently.
You go, Cam.
Well, I'll say that the one that I've picked up so
Picture
far
of,
that was like,
Arthas?
that's actually pretty cool, was they announced that there's season 4 of Young Justice coming. Now, I suspect Luke has half a chance of having watched that.
No.
No?
It has been on my list, but I have to admit I have not watched any of it.
The animated bloody DC shows have always done very well, and Young Justice is one that I'm been a strong fan of since it came out, and yeah, was very happy when they got a season 3, and if they're getting a season 4, I'm counting that as another win.
It's always a win when you get to come back for another season.
Yeah. As
always
long as
on
it
it.
doesn't do Dexter and just shit the bed.
True.
I saw the trailer for Star Trek Picard. I don't know if either of you guys are very interested in Star Trek, but I quite enjoyed a little bit of The Next Generation and Star Trek Voyager. And Star Trek Picard, it looks like they're just taking the best aspects of both of those series, advancing it 30, 40 years, because that's when the series last were on TV. And then, bam, here you go, new TV show. They're 40 years older now. So, I don't know. I'm hoping it's good, because it's Sir Patrick Stewart, and he's not a shit actor. I do hope. It's good, though. Really hope it's good.
That'll be interesting to see how it plays, because it's my understanding of the foundation of that is it's more about them having retired and moved on from the direct involvement stage, and that is an interesting idea, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what Star Trek's really ever done well.
I would really like to see Starfleet from the perspective of someone who's either retired or not part of Starfleet.
Yeah.
Because all we see is the ready room and the flight deck, a starship in Starfleet, doing Star Trek things.
I suspect there's a little bit of a reason that the Star Trek series has typically stayed away from that, because Star Trek is a very optimistic view of the future compared to a lot of other harder sci-fi, and there's a lot of other sci-fi that has played with the world around it, and that's ultimately what Star Trek Picard is going to have to do. It's going to have to play with the world around it, not with the nature of that world and that universe, rather than the space exploration. And it's a weird idea having a very utopian future being the one that's doing that, and like a blatantly utopian. It's not just here's a futuristic, somewhat positive future. It's like this is almost best case scenario sort of pathway.
Well, that's basically what they scream at you the whole time. TLDR of the trailer is Picard's looking after his family's vineyards. Girl comes to him, asks for help. He's like, yeah, I guess I could, probably. And then you start getting smacked around with shots from the season itself. So it looks like Picard has to get out of retirement, probably. Help this girl.
Yeah. It'll be worth seeing where it goes.
Speaking of space, the supposed successor to Battlestar Galactica is in its 4th season. The Expanse. That'll be coming out near the end of the year / start of next year.
Nick joined the server.
Thanks, Nick. I quite enjoyed season 1 and 2. So I really need to catch up on season 3, so it's good to see that it got picked back up after they got ditched by Sci-Fi.
So for everybody else, Nick has just joined and will be
Nick was moved to your channel AEST for some stuff on the server.
Hello, Nick.
Greetings.
RuneScape Boy 92. I agree, Mark is a noob. He's only level 35 wood.
So, for your information, Nick, given how prominent TV and movies have been in the last couple of days, and especially today, we've started out with talking about TV and movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've gone through Marvel, then Phase 4 of Marvel, talked about Witcher, Star Trek Picard, Expanse. Too many.
Basically everything that's upcoming.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that like going to be the start segment?
Sorry,
I didn't catch that.
Oh, I was saying, is that the start segment? Hang on, see, I've got a bit of back filter, I think.
Yes.
I think what he's asking was, is this the first thing we're talking about? And the answer is yes.
This has been the first thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, if anybody does anybody else have any more to jump in on TV, or shall we start talking games, which is meant to be our main topic? But hey,
Don't worry about it.
It's always good to break off and try to talk about some
wrong.
other stuff that's hitting the news.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with pop culture.
Nothing
and
at all.
harmonicas.
Well, I can't agree with the last one wholeheartedly.
No,
But-
Nick, it's okay. Luke already received his harmonica.
Yes.
good.
Okay.
He
We'll
played
leave it
he,
at that.
He played me a melody and we moved on.
Does he know melodies, does he?
I do. I
Yeah,
did a
so-
melody earlier. If you want, I can repeat my performance. I can do an encore.
All right, to
Oh,
save us all
save
from
it.
this,
Save it
Let-
for another special time.
Okay.
let's jump to games and probably talk about what is, for many of us, the biggest news item for the week right now, and that is Overwatch and their announcement that they will be introducing a role search system and role queue. So, for anybody that hasn't heard on what's going on here, Overwatch is bringing in the next patch, a system whereas you will have to nominate which role you are going to play before you enter the queue to the game, and then the Overwatch matchmaking system will structure it so that you end up in a 2-2-2 composition, with 2 people that nominated tank, 2 people that nominated support, and 2 people that nominated DPS, or attack, whatever they're calling it nowadays. And against the same sort of setup on the other side, and you will only be able to select heroes from the class type that you nominated to come into this match. Now, if you are somebody that is a little bit more flexible and does want to play a little bit wider, you can nominate more than one group, but you will only be allocated one of those groups when you actually enter the match and can only pick from that one. Basically, you have to fulfill the role that you get allocated at the start of the match. And this is already clearly developing a little bit of a split in the Overwatch community of whether or not it's taking too much out of players' hands versus forcing what is generally seen as a stable team comp. This is outright stated as going to be coming to competitive and probably quick play. There is still a little bit of doubt from what has been going on so far about whether or not it will be absolutely locked in for quick play, but at this time competitive is locked down, and it has been outright confirmed that the next stage of the Overwatch League will also have this rule enforced on them. This means that there is the death of triple tank or triple DPS or triple heal, whatever meta is. Basically, any stacked meta is going to go out the window from this. We're going to get into just straight traditional 2-2-2s. And yeah, it's definitely getting some different reactions, and I know outright that amongst this group we've got different reactions. So
I take it they haven't. They're not introducing a flex system into it yet, similar to what they classify some of the Overwatch League players as.
You can search as flex, but you will be allocated a role.
Just one role.
Yes.
I don't like it.
So
Doesn't sit right with me.
I don't hate the idea. I think it. At least from the competitive
idea.
scene, I like it. I think I mean, let's face it, it's going to basically go back to the days of dive comp for the actual meta there.
But if they start balancing, sorry,
yeah.
keep going.
I was going to say, from the standpoint of like a quick play, or those of us who don't play the competitive scene, I kind of hope they don't enforce the lock onto quick play, because realistically, that's the only place where people can go and just play whatever they want in whatever competitions they want, and there's no real set. This is how you do it, and that's that. Competitive, yeah, why not? I mean,
God,
if they want to fix up that scene, so be it. I don't much care. It's not really my scene, so it doesn't really have much of impact for me. I just hope they don't necessarily enforce it for quick play. Maybe leave it as an option if a majority rule, but I don't think they should enforce it. Maybe put it on other custom games.
They've successfully implemented it in Dota. They have a ranked role system in Dota already. Been in for 6-8 months, something like that. And it just functions as a separate queue to search for a game. So we have ranked, and ranked roles. A lot of I do hope I'm wrong, because Blizzard have put effort into it, and they rarely do. But I have a feeling a lot of people are going to hate this in a month or two time. there's going to be the initial 2 weeks of, wow, this is so great. I love it. Yeah, this is top. Yeah, great. Awesome. And then people are just going to be like, but what if I want to run 3 tanks? Or what if I want to blitzkrieg the enemy's bunker with lots of fucking DPS? Or I want to do a meme healer build.
Honestly, I think there's value in them introducing a specifically team-stacked playlist and throwing this out the window for that. For this exact reason. But in the purposes of random searches, I think this adds an awful lot of structure that has been missing. Now, Overwatch has already gone through the issue of whether or not they should split quick play into a straight out casual and an unranked quick play, with the unranked being to more closely mirror the competitive rule set and the competitive play style, and a straight out casual being a much more casual set of rules. And I think this is going to push that argument a bit here, but I suspect Blizzard's already made up their mind that that's not happening, which is a little bit of a pity, but I think they may be right that it is best for the game long term to still stay consolidated in their playlists.
So one thing I do like quite a lot, the one thing I do like quite a lot about this new thing, the new ranked roles, is that it'll give you an MMR for each of the 3 classes, I guess, we're having now. But you'll get a tank SR, you'll get a healing SR, and you'll get a DPS SR.
You get a separate MMR and a separate actual rank if you're playing competitive. So, your rank queue and your placement matches for the different roles are separated.
There's 30 games. If you want to rank for all 3, you have to play 30 games.
Nah, 5 each now. There's only 5 placement matches for each role. So it'll take 15 for you to finish. So only 5 more to rank in all 3 than where it used to be. You only have to rank in 1 to get the end of season rewards. But if you do all 3, I believe there is some sort of increased reward, but not triple.
Hot. I'm interested. Symmetra is now a DPS as well. She's not a support anymore. She's been fully transferred over to DPS.
Well, that had been basically all but done already.
It's a question in the chat, then. I have the chat open.
Oh. Yeah, that had been basically done a while back.
Yeah. But what if we play with just us 4, right? We pick tanks and supports, and then we have someone pick Symmetra and Mei. What the fuck do we do?
Pray.
Well, at the moment, that's... honestly, I'm in a situation at the moment where if you had have asked me a couple of days ago, I would have said absolute no doubt yes. I'm 100% in favour of this, because I've been annoyed to shit way too many times with getting into games where it's like, yep, we're throwing because this team comp is completely unplayable.
Yeah, I've had that too.
That there has pushed me to be... again, if you had have asked me 2 days ago, I would have been absolutely 100% in support of this. It can't come fast enough. I've had a couple of actually decent games in the last 2 days. Even as just a solo queue. And there's been some in there that is like, maybe this wouldn't have been too bad. A lot of it actually has naturally fallen 2-2-2, so I don't think there's actually going to be a problem there. I think the majority of your games actually aren't honestly going to be affected. There's a lot of the player base that seems to already naturally fall 2-2-2, and when they're thinking about it.
Well, that's because 2-2-2 is a good setup. It's a nice lineup. It should most of the time be reasonably balanced.
Yeah, and
it's just I don't like being forced into that position. It doesn't feel right. Because a lot of Overwatch's uniqueness, I guess, is the ability to change character in the middle of the game.
And that's not being removed. It's just it's locking
just
you
you're
down
not
to
being
you as a
locked.
player.
Yeah, but there's instances where we'll have Nick on Anna, and we'll shift Nick onto a DPS and shift me onto a healer because I would be a shit DPS like I normally am.
But yeah, all it's stating is that you now need to sit within your role for that match, and it's just meaning that you have to go in a little bit more pre-planned. That okay, I am committing to this role for this match, and you've got to remember that the other team is going to be in this same situation as well. This isn't just your team is going to be in that. The other team's got to play by that same mindset. And your MMR will now be set based on that role. So you should, unless you are going in as a team stack, you should actually be getting matchmaked with people that are of your equivalent MMR in their chosen role. So if you're playing the role that you don't normally play, say that, and you're not good at, you will actually be placed in with people of that new, not as skilled level.
I have no doubt in my mind that I am definitely a bronze DPS.
But likewise, you can go in if you're a plat or master or whatever, tank or heal, and actually get that challenging match and be alongside DPS players that are of that same level in that role, in their own respective role.
And that's why I like that bit. I'm not 100% anti this change. It just doesn't feel like it could be better.
Like, I think
I mean better, and I really don't like tooting Dota's horn, but I mean better as in have 3 different queues. You have your casual queue, your ranked queue, and your ranked roles queue.
I suspect the reason that they don't want to go that way is that's exactly what Heroes of the Storm did, and Heroes of the Storm has suffered very badly for it.
Oh, that's because if you look at the Heroes of the Storm main menu, there are 6 different fucking queues. And each one has their own group of people queuing for it. You don't have, like, people filtering from one blob into 2 different areas. It's just one line, one line, one line, one line. Yeah, you've got your all-pick weird thing. You have the 2 brawls of the week.
The fundamental is that Heroes of the Storm split theirs into a casual, unranked, ranked, which is what we would be talking about for Overwatch if they did it, and it's come back to bite them in the arse there. Now, maybe they would get away with... Maybe it is a factor of Heroes' player base is just not large enough to sustain that, and maybe Overwatch's is. But part of me suspects that Blizzard is very cautious about this, because it's a mentality that's also been shared in WoW. Look how much WoW has condensed queues into narrower and narrower, well, like narrower sets with more in that one set. So the most direct comparison is WoW's PvP queues have gone all the way down to you have 2 queues. End of story. Everything is condensed into those 2 queues. Unless, of course, you are doing ranked, in which case you have one ranked queue that represents everything. And it's... Blizzard has definitely been burnt by this, and I think there's a huge amount of why they don't want to touch it here, with the idea of splitting it up again. And I think part of them understands how dangerous this market is for losing your player base very quickly.
Well, then
like how many first-person shooters have died overnight.
Do it as a trial thing. Don't change quick play, because quick play will... Like, quick play is quick play. Have your... trial the ranked roles and see how many people play it compared to normal ranked. And if there's a decent portion that play ranked roles, then phase that in as the preeminent thing to do. And then phase out normal rank.
I actually reckon that they'll do that, because I have a sneaking suspicion that's exactly how they did with the removal of multi-pick.
I think you're right.
Because for those of you that came in later, especially Luke and Nick, because I know you weren't around at all during this time, what is now the arcade mode where you can pick as many of one hero as you want was the original quick play. That is how quick play actually started, and they went through a similar change ages back where they rolled it into competitive that you could only have one of each hero, and then eventually they changed to quick play to one of each hero, but kept that multi-pick as a basically permanent brawl from memory for quite a little while, until they just decided that not worth it, because reality was everybody was just playing the new version of quick play.
Not true.
Yeah, that does ring a bell.
This is actually quite a few years ago now, so I may be misremembering, but
Back in the infancy of Overwatch.
and I think there's no harm in them doing it that way here. If they sit it as a permanent brawl the way that it currently is for like quite a few weeks, and legitimately look at it and see where their player base is, then I don't think there's going to be, and then you've got real data and real responses in that case.
Yeah.
Luke, Nick, do either of you actually want to weigh in on this?
Nick,
Go
share
for
your
it, Luke.
thoughts.
I like that they both threw each other under the bus at the exact same moment.
Basically just pointing at the other one and going him.
Sometimes I forget we're twins, and then those sort of moments remind me.
Oh dear.
As you were saying, Luke.
Oh, for God's sake.
You jumping for that bus?
No, my point is I don't have a huge much more to invest.
Is it because we already played 2-2-2?
No, it's that. To be completely honest with you, I would play the game regardless of what system they had in place. If they lock me to something, then I'll just play it. I'm not really going to be that fussy about it.
Well, being that we don't really play competitive as it is, we have tried a lot. Oh, really?
One day I'll get a golden hammer.
I'll point out that we don't play competitive as much because originally we started out as we were going to play as a stack, and then we just basically
Graham.
never had nights of everybody actually being on.
Blame Graham. Graham's like, yeah, alright, we'll play ranked together. Graham never shows up. Oh, alright. Guess we're doing quick play again. Okay.
I'm just trying to count. Surely there's 5 people. Even if we exclude Graham.
6.
Sorry, 6 people even if we exclude Graham.
Well, there's Anton, but Anton knows like 2 heroes.
I don't think he's even 25.
I think he's older than that.
For God's sake.
Hey! I think Anton's 27.
Hello, smartass known as Nick.
Anton's either 27 or 22.
You say 27 or 22?
Yeah. Because he's young at heart.
Right.
Oh, speaking of the changes that they're bringing into Overwatch, I really liked that they said that they're reworking Brigitte. But when I read through what they're doing to Brigitte, it's definitely nerfs.
Oh, definitely.
It's definitely a rework. That shield health begs to differ.
Yeah, to admit, out of everything, that shield health to me is just a waste of time. Just give it another 200 HP.
Yeah.
And
A
be done with
single
it.
shotgun. It's
I think
gone.
part of this is I think they're trying to uniform up the 3 different like the characters within the 3 role sets, and Brigitte was a problem because she represented too much of a tank and too much of a DPS for what is now going to be the healer role. Because if you look at it, there's quite a considerable number of buffs to her healing.
Yeah, they're not, but they don't really outweigh the loss of that shield.
No, they don't outweigh the loss to basically her functionality as an independent multi-role.
They've also dropped the alt economy by 12%, was it? All alts now get
Yeah, but that's a global thing, and that's just changing the pacing of the game, which probably isn't a bad thing.
I don't mind it. I think I'll like it.
The thing with Brigitte, though, is that if her shield's only got 200 health, she's not going to be able to do shield bash that often. Shield's not going to actually be up.
That's actually what I was thinking. I was wondering to myself, are they going to still have it that you're going to do shield bash while the shield is up, or if you can use it even when you've broken your shield?
No, it'll still be That's the idea with Bino having a high health shield was that she could block to get people out of combat, similar to how Reinhardt does it.
Well, I always treated her shield as a Reinhardt shield is down. Everyone, make yourself smaller.
Yeah, form a line.
Well,
form a line, but not big enough that you get flanked.
Yeah. But the 200 health, that's
a bit insulting.
Oh god.
It's basically saying, yeah, this character will never be anything but the back line.
Which is the complete opposite of what you want your Brigitte to be doing. She's in the back line, she's doing her job wrong. If you're an Ana shooting your healer and you look to your right and you see a Brigitte throwing ammo packs, your Brigitte is wrong. That's not how it should be.
Yeah. To be fair, they also gave her multiple charges on the armor pack.
Was it 2 charges?
Yeah, they gave it 2 charges, but now it has a 2 second what's the 2 second completion rate?
The heal over time.
It's 3 charges, I think.
It's not an instant heal. It's now
it's
just
a dot.
Yeah, it's a
it's
a hot.
Sorry, it's a hot.
But it heals more.
Forgive me.
I thought the worst part about it was that it's a heal over time, but it stacks. If you put 3 on someone, then it takes 6 seconds to get the healing. You can't just amplify it for 2 seconds.
No.
That's, to me, it just defeats the purpose of throwing all of them at one unit.
I think that's a nerf in regards to Baptiste's ult, because you could throw the ammo pack through Baptiste's ult. I don't think the interaction will work anymore.
Possibly not. Something to be checked.
Well, because Moira's testicle just explodes itself twice as fast in that instance. It doesn't deal 400 damage, it just deals its 200 damage twice as fast.
Which quite possibly means that what this ends up doing is dealing its healing in 1 second rather than in 2 seconds.
Yeah, which is why I'm interested.
Which means Baptiste's ult is still giving it a buff. It's giving it a tick rate buff, not a total quantity buff.
Flat heal buff. Depending on how you look at it, you could take that as a buff, I guess.
I think you have to look at it as a buff, because otherwise everything is a nerf.
Well, it's if you don't count it as buffing it, then you're counting it that Baptiste's ult nerfs Moira's damage orb. I
often have issues getting the full value out of the Moira's testicle, so I actually quite like throwing it through Baptiste's wall. Because it also amps the healing over time as well. Does its 200 heal twice as quick.
Alright. I did actually have another... Well, I'm assuming that's the general gist of what we've got for Overwatch. Realistically, we got to wait for this patch to drop to get some real comments on it. There's a whole bunch of rumours going around about new hero.
Sigma!
But there's nothing
People are
nothing really concrete here yet, so we would
They're
just
ki-
be commenting on basically nothing.
they're guesstimating that he's a musician. He's Lucio's dad. He's actually blind, and your screen will be black while you play. That's a big no. Mind
So,
you, though, if
honestly,
they did do
we
a
have
hero
no.
like that
The
would be
reality is
amazing.
that we have no clue.
Yeah. All we know is that the character probably likes classical music, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It's important to know a lot of lore.
What fucking lore?
No.
Biggest fucking gripe with this game. I just want lore. I just want a story.
Well, before I bring up the third topic I had lined up, does anybody else have some sort of gaming news from the last fortnight that we should be talking about?
No?
Nothing in particular,
I have had many other things on my mind.
as have I, unfortunately.
Chronic
Don't-
masturbation for both of you.
No.
Well, I
it's-
mean, it was a filler, but it wasn't the main thing.
Whoa. That's a main course. Yummy. No, I have my graduation tomorrow, so that's going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, can be looked upon as something that's to be celebrated.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I haven't really played many games or kept an eye out for games. The only thing I've really done is paid attention this weekend when we had Comic-Con in America and all the TV shows and movies just gone all over our faces. That's your cue on cam.
Well, the other main piece of news I had to bring up, and it's because I've harped on this game a decent amount over the last couple of weeks, is we have got the first multiplayer footage from the Modern Warfare game.
Ooh.
So, it's not a main game mode footage yet, but it does at least show us actual gameplay. And honestly, to me, this is just firming up what I had already thought, that this may end up being the shooter for this year. I'm looking at this and have a lot more faith in this year's Call of Duty than anything that I saw of last year's Call of Duty, or the year before that's Call of Duty, or the year before that.
Basically the last 5-6 years of Call of Duty.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember how far back we're going until the last time I actually saw a Call of Duty that made me go, that might end up being a good game. But this one's got me curious.
It's because of price, isn't it?
There's definitely a bit of nostalgia here, and there's definitely a bit of projection going on what I'm expecting from a game that's wearing the Modern Warfare name. But seeing gameplay that looks like it feels looks like how the previous Modern Warfare games did has got me optimistic. And I think it's about time we got back this style of shooter that actually you could undoubtedly say, yep, that's a solid shooter to do. That's one that's actually one you're gonna be happy in loading up and playing a couple of times a week, rather than for 2 weeks heavily and then not really going back to it, which has been basically every other shooter since Overwatch came out. Unless one of you guys can think of a game that I'm not thinking of.
Nope, can't say I can.
Just sad, because they're really starting to put some effort into Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
A little bit late, I'll be honest, but
I had to say that's just about EA's thing at the moment, though, being a little bit late.
how disappointing.
I don't know. How are any of you guys feeling about this year's lineup of games, let alone this year's lineup of shooters, let alone the concept of a Call of Duty? I know this time last year we were actually having discussions about what felt like the bigger, somewhat more arcadey, but basically the shooter that fell into that space with the whole Battlefield 5 vs Black Ops 4 lineup.
Blops.
Where are you guys feeling at the moment?
Well, myself personally, I've almost completely moved away from most caring too much for most first-person shooters. All of them to me look the same. So even when this Modern Warfare one doesn't even take my interest.
Shooters have never been my forte. Always preferred my strategy games. Just watching the video, it looks better than Blops. It looks more interesting than Blops, but I mean, a baby's turd looks more interesting than Blops, so
Jesus,
a pretty low bar.
That's a curious comparison.
I think it would probably beat Battlefield 5 simply because EA dropped the ball, I guess, with 5. Just disappointing because I've always preferred Battlefield over COD.
You want to know what actually really has thrown me off? How much 5 has dropped the ball by anywhere near modern standards of having a match balancing system. I went back to Battlefield 5 for a couple of games in the last couple of weeks, and time again found that it was just ruffle stops by one side or the other. Like, there was no effort being made by the actual game to try and have a balanced out match. It was just blatantly one way or the other, and there was nothing in it. And I actually can't remember the last time that a major first person shooter release balls that up that badly. Like, because it's been quite some time since we've had a major shooter that didn't have some level of matchmaking in it. And even then, you would have to go back probably 15 years nearly to find one that didn't have forced balancing within the server.
I remember that. Occasionally you'd be getting stomped, and then all of a sudden the server would pop up saying, auto-balancing teams, please wait. There'd be a momentary bit of lag, and then someone would say, oh, fuck off, why am I on the losing team? That person was probably dominating on the first team to begin with, but I do recall that quite a lot, and I don't recall seeing it in 5.
No, and like it's become very obvious over the last couple of games of 5 I've played that it doesn't happen. If you're behind, like if your team is getting destroyed or the enemy team is getting destroyed, the only way that stops is by the game ending.
Time to put you out of your misery, son.
And yeah, I think right now that is probably the biggest block to me going back, because it's nice that they've expanded the map list. It's annoying that they've actually decreased the game mode list. It's like, Jesus Christ, EA, what the hell was thinking there? Why are you patching out content?
To make the servers seem fuller, maybe?
I don't know.
And I really wanted to get into Battlefield 5 as well. I really enjoyed that first week. Second week, not so much. I really wanted to get into it. Wanted to enjoy it.
I don't know. It sort of leads to the other question of what is on everybody's radar as game releases for the back half of this year.
Oh, you said back half of this year. Never mind.
I mean, were you thinking later?
We all know what Raymond's thinking.
Cyberpunk.
Fair enough. Well, for me, it would be the third installment of the Trails of Cold Steel series, which has been pushed back to October, unfortunately. Supposed to be out in August, and now it's October. That alongside my other sort of favorite game, which is the Fire Emblem series, which has its game releasing on Friday. Those are probably the two ones I've been most looking forward to. So I'm at least pleased that not both of them didn't get delayed.
Ooh! Sorry, I do actually have a game I'm interested in.
Go ahead.
This year. Star Wars Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. I want to see if it's going to be shit. Because it's an EA release, and it's Star Wars, and their track record, not so good.
It's appalling.
So, I'm interested.
Fair enough. What about you, Nick?
Okay, what game am I looking forward to?
Just anything in the next 6 months.
Um,
Do you know of what's coming out next 6 months?
yeah, but just,
Do you have games you like?
I have games I like. No, I haven't. There was one I had on my mind a while ago, but I'm trying to remember what the heck it was now. I haven't actually really. I just sort of look at games that are coming up, but nothing's really kept in my mind.
Could it be that you're no longer a gamer?
No, I'm still gamer.
Whoa.
You have to be
It just
gamer
got
for life.
real. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you said gamer for life. I think that was the extent of my conversation.
So what you're saying is
Okay.
you actually don't have anything that you're looking out for.
I was filling in the void with extra words while I thought of something,
And it didn't help.
and it didn't help.
I'm so sorry. I put you on up to a pedestal that you couldn't possibly stand on.
Drops me off of it.
Very well then. What about you, Cameron? Seeing as we're overshadowing Nick at the moment.
Well,
Give me time to think.
I'm actually flipping through the rest of the release calendar at the moment, but I dug out back in the January episode of this, I wrote myself a list of games that at that stage I was looking forward to in this year. And I'm looking at that list again now and realizing that the only one that is in the back half of this year that hasn't been delayed is Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yet.
Excellent.
Delayed yet.
I'm almost
Coming up next.
Knockwood.
I'm almost confident with some of the stuff going around that one may yet get delayed. So I'm not holding my breath.
Like, I'm looking at more listings, and yep, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's an interesting one worth looking at. I don't know if it's one I was planning to jump on, as I've been harping on about. I think Modern Warfare is going to be worth looking this year, but I I can't name anything else at the moment, and like I'm flipping through a list and it's just there's it looks like it's going to be a very dry very dry back half of the year.
I'm sorry, I had a bit of a laugh then. That was well said.
Just play Crash Tag Team Racing the whole time, Cam. It'll be fine.
I feel like you were
Yeah.
100% the game in that time.
Actually, let's talk about how they turned that into a live service. Like,
Oh no!
I don't know if you guys have actually picked it up, but
I haven't yet, no.
I haven't.
so they have basically a Game Pass, a Rocket Pass, a whatever you want to call it, a season pass thing, going every month, and it is legitimately like every month to 6 weeks. It's not even like a 3-monthly thing like Rocket League does now. And you would be having to play this thing non-stop to max out those rewards because they have just filled this thing with cosmetics in the in-game store.
Oh, what have they done to my baby?
And like, I like the core concept of that game. It's a solid core. Like, they've done a very good job of remastering the core idea of the kart racer, and I'm very happy that they actually added new tracks as part of the remaster, and I'm happy that they're continuing to release new tracks. I'm annoyed to hell that basically they've poured in so much content of, oh, you've got to grind out this currency, and there is a currency attached to it. Basically, you've got to grind out one currency to be able to buy stuff in the in-game store. You've got to grind out another currency to be able to level up for the different items on the season pass thing or Rocket Pass, or what the hell did Fortnite call it at the start? What started this trend?
Hi, I'm a Dota player, and I'd like to apologize for giving the world
yeah,
Battle
I understand
Pass.
that Dota did it beforehand, but Fortnite's definitely the one that popularized it.
Called a Battle Pass.
Yeah, the Battle Pass concept. Like,
Sorry.
this is really annoying.
It's a blight worse than microtransactions. Like
I wouldn't have-
microtransactions have evolved into battle passes.
I wouldn't have had anywhere near as much of an issue if they had as they've done with a few of the characters and cosmetics and stuff, locked it behind challenges in the game. But there is an enormous amount of them that are locked behind the in-game store, and that's it.
Excellent.
And they've done the same thing that goddamn Mortal Kombat did. It's a rotating in-game store, so you actually have to load up the game. If there is a specific item that you actually want, you need to load up the game every day, because every day only 6 items are listed in the store.
Excellent.
So it's annoying as hell, but good core game, solid core game, and you can't fault it on that. Pain in the ass for what they've done for the rest of this. They haven't attached any microtransactions to it yet.
That's the battle pass already, Cameron.
Well, at the moment there is no pay for the battle pass.
Ah.
It's a free-only battle pass, but you would have to be playing this game an awful lot to actually get it out. And
I sniff microtransactions comment.
And honestly, you basically don't have a hope of getting it out unless you're paying a PlayStation Plus subscription.
Oh, sorry, what are they called again? Ethical surprises. Sorry.
No, surprise mechanics is what you're after.
Ethical. They're ethical. Keyword. Ethical.
No. EA didn't specifically use the word ethical when they did that load of crap. But yeah, if you don't have a PlayStation Plus subscription or an Xbox Live Gold, you're also pretty well boned, because it actually limits the amount of currency you can generate per day. So, yeah, pain in the ass what they did there. That's my rant.
Chuck Arthur's Minifil up on the screen, Cam.
Is this something you prepared earlier?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
This is something I
Arthur's
think Raymond
Minifil.
sent me, but I'm still just looking through this release schedule, and yeah, there's nothing.
Oh, 2020 is going to be, I'm hoping, a big year for gaming because that's when we're getting our consoles. The next gen is being announced, so we should get big
Well,
games being announced. New games, hopefully, new IPs being announced.
I don't know what to believe there, because we're in a weird situation where traditionally the first year of a console generation is shit. Let's be blunt.
Just new things, good things.
No, let's be honest. Who here is there? Has there ever been a game that came out in the first year of a console generation that wasn't a first-party title that was actually worth a damn?
I don't know, my memory doesn't stretch back that far.
I don't let my memory stretch back that far.
There's horrible things that far back.
Yeah.
He's been traumatized.
Like, you'll struggle to find anything worth a damn. Like, everything that I've got on my shelf that was first year of the PlayStation 4, because I bought one only a couple of months after release, basically is untouched. Like, I played through them while I was waiting for better games.
Nice.
And so, I'm not holding my breath for that. The flip side is that dev kits for these things have been in developer hands for a bloody long time at this point. So hopefully we actually do have some third-party games that are worth a solid look in. And I think both Sony and Microsoft have been holding cards against their chest for a launch lineup for these consoles. So
I'm in that same vein, hoping for good shit. I'm really hoping that 343 are able to bring the Halo franchise home, I guess. Bring it back to competence.
my suspicion is that we are in for a very slow 2020 and then a very, very strong 2021.
Well, here's hoping that Cyberpunk will keep us going throughout the entirety of 2020 then.
Might keep you going.
Well, fuck you.
It's kept you going for the last 5 years.
No, that was Witcher 3. I'm like that meme. It's like friendship ended with Geralt of Rivia. I don't actually know the character for Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is my new friend. Like big X's through Geralt's face.
Jesus.
Although I probably will play through Witcher again. I rarely ever play games twice. Oh, fuck.
Nick, we've given you quite a bit of time now. Have you thought of anything else?
Actually.
Yes.
Oh, good. Can we hear them?
I don't really know of anything much coming out at the end of the year that I'm too interested in. I'm mostly just sort of keeping an eye out. Like this September, I think they got that Code Vein coming out, which is another, what is it, like another JRPG kind of game.
That one will be fun, because even though I didn't have enough time to play the full sort of late game dungeon, the part I did play of it was still quite fun, and surprisingly, I mean, it was easy in Dark Souls, but there was still elements of it that were fun to master.
There's also another one at the start of September. I'm half tempted to get just to see what Tamara says about it.
Oh, Catherine.
Yeah.
I'm keen on getting that one too. Only because back when we had that one on Xbox, I believe, I only ever watched you play it, and I never actually understood the whole concept of the game outside of just enjoying the dialogue between the events. And since this one has a third spin-off chapter to it, I think it'd be quite fun to get back into. Plus, it's always fun being chased up a puzzle by a crawling baby.
Not really fun.
Was it covered in blood?
I don't. I can't.
It was meant to represent a fetus, wasn't it?
For those of our young viewers who are still on.
That's okay. The baby was nothing. The baby was nothing compared to the actual Catherine woman chasing after you with knives. He was a creepy devil. I still never understood how getting to the top of the puzzle meant you survived when the creature that was chasing you just was watching you from the other side. Like, damn, he's setting in a light. I can't get him. It's like, what about that huge knife in your hand? That could get through the light. But anyway,
there has to be a way to win, though.
There has to be a way to win.
Otherwise, we'd just be playing a game for nonsense.
I'll say, out of that one, what I liked most about it was actually just the menu part when you get into it, and the guy just looks up and shouts at the top of his lungs, "Catherine!" But it's just you hear the sheer horror in his voice. I used to just keep reloading it to hear that. That was actually I think that was one of the best parts. They really are. Hopefully they do something very similar for the main menu this time around as well.
Any more, Nick?
It looks like it's mostly September for me.
But actually, I just realized as well, I did lie, and I realized this probably plays on to my comment of not liking to remember things recent and long past. The Fire Emblem game Three Houses did get delayed. It was meant to come out on the 12th. It's been delayed, so it was delayed by 2 weeks to this Friday.
How dare they? This is unacceptable.
It's okay. I'm just surprised I forgot.
Oh
I literally pushed it out of my head.
Literally worse than Hitler.
Yes. I should think to myself, oh my god, it was actually delayed. It's like, did I put that out of my head? Was I that depressed that I actually tried to forget that it was delayed?
It's a repressed memory.
I feel like it was. Oh, jeez.
Oh, pardon me. Completely random, but
Very well.
I think it's also fake. But I did read that you can buy KFC salt.
Really?
I don't think it's real, but if it is
this
I
like?
wouldn't say no to some salt.
Is this like playing on that, like the whole nerdy bathwater thing? Like people selling stuff that they've just had in their possession?
I feel like the KFC salt, not salt scraped off someone's chips.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Gamer salt.
Gamer salt.
I know plenty of people that can back up some of that.
Premium
we can make a killing.
distilled salt.
Let's go grab Cole and put him in a Rocket League match, lose a few, and then scrape off what's been produced.
Make sure that it's 3v3s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the enemy team and only trying to demo him. Okay.
Oh god.
Perfect. All right. Cool.
Then we need to
We'll
get Graham into an Overwatch match.
And just not be where he is.
Oh, yes. When he says, "Let's do this as a team," we go and
We go without him, or we wait for him to run and then follow him like 10 meters away.
yeah, we got you back.
Yep.
Ah, that guy's not going to get you.
Nah, he's fine. He's all good. Or if he says group up, we immediately scatter. Like
We have to scatter and
points on the
stand behind different
someone
objects.
goes 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Easy. Just scatter.
Yes, and we have to hide behind objects, but be on the but have our bodies on the side where the Widowmaker is.
Yes, so we get shot.
Exactly. I actually tried out God Eater 3 demo on the weekend, Nick.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. No, I actually don't recall if you went online. Very interesting game. It even actually has a raid aspect to it, believe it or not. Unfortunately, playing a demo meant that when it said to me in the thing, just wait 1 minute, we'll find you a team. I'm like, oh, I thought, am I going to regret this? I thought I haven't even played this game that much. I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. Sit there, 30 seconds pass. Oh yeah, it's just making sure it finds people around my level. Down to 10 seconds. It's taking. It's like, is it going to pop out at the last minute? Then gets down to 0, making preparations. Like, what is it doing? Suddenly it says, we couldn't find anyone. Tell you what, have some AI. And I'm like, oh, like, did no one want to play with me? And then I realized that after the raid, it's like, just so you know, you can't play with other people in a demo. I'm like, then why would you give my hopes up? But anyway,
Yeah, it seems a bit weird.
That's okay. I played in the raid, and I went up against the boss. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. All of a sudden, all the AI disperse. I'm like, what do they know that I don't? Then suddenly I get struck by a lightning bolt and killed, and the voiceover says to me, "You should have run." I'm like, oh, okay. I suppose I will follow what the AI does. If they run away, I will run away. But the ending result was that I tried that raid twice. I did better the second time around, but even with the help of my trusty AI, I could not even kill it. So I was a bit depressed. But I also feel like I wasn't supposed to, because they still gave me top rewards despite the fact they said, you're a failure, but hey, you won!
You're a good failure.
That's what I felt like. It's like you guys failed. That's okay. Come on back, abandon the mission. And it's like, and here's your spoils of Raw. It's like, I feel like you're awarding me for being a failure.
A participation award.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like these awards are what you'd give someone if they actually succeeded. What am I? Like, is me coming back with my lives still intact? Is that my reward? Hey, you survived.
Good job.
I was a bit confused about the entire ordeal, but the game itself was quite fun. Though I do feel a bit bad because I've still never played number 2, but I have heard it's the worst of them all. Maybe it's not bad that I jumped straight from 1 to 3.
I think there's a bit of an argument to be made that, especially for some game series, that's a well-justified move.
Oh, considering most games that you play, not all of them these days ever really just flow on in some sort of a series or sequence. You can honestly just bypass the latest stuff quite easily, and some of the latest stuff they've taken just giving you big recaps of just watch a short video and you'll know exactly what's happened in the game so far, or just play in this first beginning chapter. We'll just quickly go through some critical moments and say this is what happened. This person felt sad. This person did this, and now you're here. It's like, oh.
Those were the 3 events that led to you being here?
Well,
a person being sad, somebody saying something?
You might think that seems strange, but that's actually some of the recaps I've got in games that I've jumped ahead on. Oh, I say jumped ahead, but it's more like, okay, I haven't played this in a while. I'll just see if the recap's enough to remind me what the hell I did in the last game several years ago. And it's like, oh yeah, that's badly played, but I didn't understand where they're coming from. That person did cry. Oh dear.
Well, I had to read through a more comprehensive list of other games, and the only other 2 that I thought were worth mentioning were the next Ghost Recon game, which, as we've said in the past for a few of them, might be worth a look in, but we've never committed to doing that for any of them, so I'm not holding my breath. And Doom Eternal, which is the sequel to the quite good previous Doom. But beyond that, nothing's really screaming at me. I did also think of one piece of gaming news that is relevant to us from the last fortnight. And by relevant to us, I mean only 2 of us can really comment on it. Of the newest WoW raid has actually been released, and myself and Luke, have now both played it. And I can't speak for Luke here. Well, not yet, but
not yet.
I think it's been well done. This patch is, as a whole, given that we've got the majority of what this patch has now available to us, this patch as a whole has done a good job of trying to redeem this lackluster expansion.
Are we getting an 8.3 or is it 8.4?
There has been confirmed that there will be an 8.3.
Alright, good. I'm going to keep the storyline going. We're not going to just ditch it. That was... That's good. Glad. I don't want them to just abort it like they did with Warlords of Draenor. I want them to try and fix this expansion.
Anyway, Luke, you're the one that actually resorted to quitting but having come back for this patch and now this raid. And the raid being the more important of the two right now, because there still hasn't been a mythic clear as far as I can tell.
No.
Let me just
I forget.
quickly pop to the WoW Reddit.
Yeah, you'll soon be able to tell us. Outside of the fact that this latest raid feels a lot like some of the old legacy stuff that we did rehashed, I've still enjoyed it. Of course, us smashing our head against that second last boss, the Knight and Heroic, got a little bit painful. It is always a relief to just overcome those challenges in the end with a little bit of teamwork. But yeah, ultimately, I haven't really found anything wrong with it. I haven't gone up against Azara yet. You have, so you can probably speak about that, but a bit more in your own way. But realistically, the raid as a whole seems pretty nicely done. The concept of Nazjatar to me is actually one I actually rather enjoy pursuing, even though I feel like there are some aspects of the environment that probably could have been done a bit differently. But that's not for me to say. And yeah, I think coming back after my 4-month break from the game, I don't see any reason to stop playing at this stage. And surprisingly, I think I'm actually playing my best Shadow Priest that I have in the entire time I've played Shadow Priest in the last year or so. So at the moment, I'm feeling pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, your DPS is taking over mine, and your 10 item level's lower.
I know.
Limit is currently in the lead.
Yeah, both Limit and Method are at 7 of 8.
Ah, I see.
But it's placing Limit ahead of Method, I'm assuming because they got a higher percentage.
No, Limit got the kill on Zakul like nearly a day in front. So
Okay, alright.
Limit had Zakul down last night, Method did not. So yeah.
Yeah. I think I was actually watching a Twitch stream of Limit versing Zakul the other night, and what was it? I think I was watching one of the main tanks, and just every time when something went wrong, he just lost it. It was actually a bit embarrassing to watch.
I don't really have any intention of cheering on Limit then.
It may just be that guy in general, but I was just watching. It's like instead of trying to offer up words of support, just every time something went wrong, he just looked around and just blamed anyone he could.
Cole?
Like it's like you are meant to be the main tank. You probably should be a bit more supportive of your team, particularly if you're trying to achieve a goal. But anyway, that's just me.
Cole, is that you? Are you leading Limit?
Oh, I thought that guy looked familiar. That's Snarl.
Oh dear.
That's Salt.
Wow.
Nah, just kidding. Cole would still be more supportive of that.
But yeah, on the matter of the patch, I agree. I think Nazjatar is a very well done zone.
Good.
I'm not as favourable to Mechagon as Nazjatar.
Oh.
Agreed.
Concept fine, execution questionable.
Definitely.
I have mixed feelings about how they've actually. I'll back up a bit. One of the points that has thrown me off a bit is how they've addressed professions in this patch, and I have mixed feelings on that. Like, I like the fact that professions can just make appropriate gear. Like, your crafting ones have got access to crafting, like, actual somewhat serious gear and don't have to consume a specific resource for it. And I like how the consumable ones have got a fairly complete set of new consumables. I have mixed feelings about the quantity of resources that go into those things, though. Like, we were comparing notes the other night, Luke, about just the quantity of ore that goes into the new armor pieces.
Yeah, and how difficult it is to come across the new ore.
Well, yeah, especially in that quantity.
What did I read? I read something like this about the jewel crafting. Apparently, it's like obscene.
And, like, the drop rate on the rank 3 recipes, because nearly all of the rank 3 recipes are, unlike previous ones for this expansion, aren't behind a rep, they're behind a random drop.
Great.
And
love it.
From what I've experienced so far, those drop rates must be piss tiny. But yeah, I really do quite like the fact that the profession gear is just outright here's the option. Like, here's the opportunity. I like the fact that we don't have to grind another 20 dungeons to be able to do any crafting. But yeah, it's been traded off for very large quantities of material. But on the main meat of the content, I don't know about you, but the dungeon just feels forcefully set up. Like,
Explain.
it's touted as a mega dungeon and it's mythic only, and it is 8 bosses, but there's such a clear divide. It is so clearly split half-half. And like, I know why, because it's got to fit into the Mythic Plus system, and the only way you make it fit into the Mythic Plus system is by splitting that dungeon up, and it's exactly what Karazhan did. But as it stands right now, you're basically just doing two mythics back to back. You're just doing this one 4-boss dungeon followed immediately by this other 4-boss dungeon.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the impression you got as well there, Luke, but that's definitely the way I have felt about Mechagon so far.
No, I agree with you there. And the concept on it too, about having to get, because I know when we did it, when we went through with Cole, his desire to always go and grab all those extra little buffs and things, and the execution of a lot of those, where the boss fights, everything worked. Yeah, it all felt very forced and unnecessary.
I don't think the buffs are going to be necessary for long, if they even are still.
That's what. I'm sort of questioning why they're even there. It just seems like a forced need for you to explore. When realistically, you could just go straight to every boss fight and you would be done faster.
And I honestly reckon that's exactly how I'll do it next time I do it. I think we're what, 2 weeks in, and I'm already at the stage of saying, nope, not worrying about those buffs again.
God no. Considering how many times one little mistake, just basically like, oh look, we lost all those buffs, and now one of us gets to grab that robot that we left over there.
Yeah.
So we're now going into this fight, having wasted 10 minutes looking around for robots.
Oh yeah.
With no buffs. Such a waste.
I will say that they're mostly unique fights for a dungeon.
Oh, I certainly enjoyed the fights.
Like, I think the bosses themselves are good. It's just that they're playing too much towards, this is the sort of dungeon we wanted to design, and it's like, why? You're trying to meet a certain template. They tried to make it so that it's two mythics joined together. It's like, why? That second last boss didn't even need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, honestly, I don't think the first boss was still fine. Yeah, I would say that 7 of the 8 bosses in there are fine. It's just, yeah, that second last, why is this even a thing? And yeah, I don't understand why they make you do it as one whole one. Other than the fact that they did the same thing in Legion with Karazhan.
The other thing I found annoying though was that one stealth section too. The part where it's like, oh, if you make one little mistake, guess what? You got to go all the way back to the beginning.
I don't have an issue with that concept as a whole, but that is going to be such a massive pain in the ass trying to do it on a timer.
Oh, exactly. And you can't exactly just quickly get through it either. You have to go the one predefined path, and that's pretty much it. Unless if you have quickly use a unique movement ability to get past it, but obviously it's just easier to just go one path and that's it.
Things I get to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's something, I guess. I wouldn't say look forward to it.
Well, I haven't started the expansion yet, so...
On the raid, I'm pretty happy. Well, I can't say any of the 8 bosses in the raid are bad. They've recycled a little bit of it, but we've actually got some interesting and unique fights, and like, you haven't touched Ashara yet, but that's actually probably the most lore-heavy fight that I've seen in a while, with how well the end of this patch is tied into how that fight happens.
I heard people were upset that the end fight cinematic wasn't as long as it could have been. They wanted more.
Yeah, I've heard arguments for and against, and I think I lean on the side of 4. And it's weird because I watched the cinematic beforehand because I actually thought I've got no idea how long until I see Ashara, because the guild I'm raiding with now is going in on heroic, and God knows how long it's actually going to take us to progress there.
Right. Surely they could just do a quick normal run for the sake of lore.
I've now got a normal kill.
Okay, good.
But yeah, because we went straight in as progression heroic with the intention of doing progression, and it was like, well, I don't know how long until I'm going to get a normal kill. I might just watch the cinematic outright. Okay. And watched it and went, okay, yep, that seems solid. I'm interested to see how this plays in with the fight, and then how significant that fight feels. Yes, after that, the cinematic feels a little bit lacking in comparison.
Well, compare it to the equivalent fight in Legion, which I guess would be Kill Jaden.
I would say the boss fight itself is pretty equivalent, and I suspect that on heroic it's going to be on mythic it's going to be a bitch for these two guilds that are up to there at the moment. And yeah, if you compare directly there, you probably got a heavier cinematic from that, but I don't know if that cinematic outright played as significant role in terms of the story as what this one did.
You sure didn't Kill Jaden? He ripped open he ported Argus to...
No, Illidan then opened a wormhole, which was Illidan's plan all along. It was just Illidan did it as the way to get home.
Right. Hold on, everyone. I'll teleport us out of here. Thanks, Dadka.
Yeah.
I still think Kil'jaeden should have been the big bad of that expansion. I don't. Weird we imprisoned Sargeras. Sits off with me.
I don't know. Any more thoughts on the patch so far, Luke?
No, not really. Fundamentally, for me, WoW is WoW. I still hate my day. Yeah, wow. I still hate doing my dailies, and to be honest, I've almost given up on the Mechagon ones.
Oh dear.
I've pretty much just not. I think I've gone back there since we did the mega dungeon. So there's that. But outside of that, getting back in the Mythic Plus dungeons has been fun. And eventually, I'll get over my past fears of PvP, and I'll get back into doing proper 2v2s and all that. But for the time being, I just enjoy my battlegrounds when we get into them, and when we don't get ruffle stomped.
It's such a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag. Because I remember the few nights ago we played it and we couldn't lose, and then the next day we're like, oh, we were doing so well, let's try it again. Pro tip: don't believe your luck runs consecutively, and we lost every match.
Excellent.
I really feel like we've got a better chance in twos, but I get that that's not the most desirable thing to try. Have you touched a 10 yet this season, Luke?
This season?
No. You wouldn't have played Beguiling yet.
No. The best I've done is a 9 the other night.
Yeah.
Other day, so.
Yeah. I quite like Beguiling at the moment. I think it's going to fix the main problem that Reaping had. Of Reaping got too set in this is the path through the dungeon that you must take. I think Beguiling's got the advantage that it is actually randomized week to week. So the path you took one week does not equal the ideal path the next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I like that there's actually something causing a bit more flexibility in this. In saying that, maybe if they had made Beguiling itself harder but not as common in the dungeon, because you wouldn't have seen it yet, but you can't avoid encountering it everywhere in the dungeon, and but it's also not super difficult. You just have to slow down around it, around the packs that have it. So,
okay,
yeah, mixed feelings. I like the idea of it, but I also really liked Reaping, so. Anyway, regardless, my opinion is that this patch is a massive improvement over where this expansion had been going so far.
Yay!
Yeah, it's been a good one for me to get back into as well. All I have to do is just start focusing on a few other different elements, but for the time being, what I've done so far, I've enjoyed.
I just would like the grind for the heart to be over already, even though there's another 14 levels to go.
Don't you have to get to 55?
I already am 55. You have to get to like 68.
Oh, okay.
Distant dream.
Or 70 or something. It's ridiculous.
That won't take me long to catch up.
It won't take you long to catch up to 50. Everything after that, you're on your own.
Yes, but when I play, my heart will always take the priority. Heart's always the highest level.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What about?
Sorry, Luke?
I was gonna throw the ball at Nick since he's sitting in the corner. Any chance, Nick, you'll ever get back into it?
Probably not. Not in the near future.
Hey, well,
I don't really have the time to put into it.
What could possibly be taking all of Nick's time?
Starts with
Work,
T.
life, things.
It starts with T.
Twerk?
Work. Yeah, he spends all day twerking.
To work. I
To
must go.
work.
Working.
the working,
working.
let's go.
He has to go to work to twerk for tomorrow.
I think you just formed a sentence out of all those.
Yeah.
I think that was the idea.
An unnecessary
You'll be
sentence.
to working tomorrow.
You're to working. You'll be to working all over your work.
Now, Nick, don't make this X-rated.
Yeah, Nick, please don't get sent to HR for twerking on someone's desk.
But if you do, please film it and send it to us.
Yeah, I very much would appreciate it.
Content.
I'll be
it's
sure
not
to
gonna
keep that in mind.
I wouldn't say that it would be some Raiders YouTube content. It definitely will be different type of content for me.
SomeRaiders Pornhub content.
Yeah, opening video for our new and upcoming Pornhub account. Will be Nick just twerking. Working to work. Like not driving to work, walking down the street, working. Yeah, I like
Jesus.
it.
Alright, guys. We are now having a conversation about twerking, and we have drastically overrun what our normal runtime for this is meant to be.
Yeah, well, that's because working is a fun pastime if you're Nick.
It is.
So, I think we might wrap it up there.
Come on,
Very well.
Thanks for coming, everyone, and...
I didn't hear a no.
Oh god. Tell us in the comments below where you would like Raymond to shove the harmonica.
Beautiful.
Alright. Well, we'll see if you guys make it on time next time, eh?
Yeah.
No promises.
From the man that had dinner at 9:30.
Fucking hell.
Alright. Catches.
See ya.
Bye.